Hey guys, so I wanted to sit relay the mail. I'll be right back. This is the vlog, so guys, this is how it is. Hello? Okay, so I want to do my scoliosis story. So I know I told you guys a little bit before, like how sometimes I have like back pain and stuff like that, and it's from my scoliosis and having surgery. So let's start from the beginning. When I was in grade school, much younger, when we would go shopping and like try on clothes, Inky and I, my mom would like, have us try on clothes and have us come out and like look at to see if, the clothes fit and how it looks on us. And my mom would always be like, telling me like, why don't I stand straight, like how come you're not standing straight? And I'll be like, I'm standing straight. Like she always say I'm not standing straight, but I'm standing straight. So make this video a little lighter so it's not too dark, because the sun is really bad here. So cloudy today. So she'd be like, why aren't you standing straight? And I'm like, I'm standing straight. So that's when, we kind of noticed it, but we didn't think about it until after the fact. So when you think back, like, oh yeah, I remember those times when, you'd ask me to stand straight, or I'd ask you to stand straight and you wouldn't, and stuff like that. So that's that. So it wasn't until 6th grade when they do the screening, the scoliosis screening at school. And it's more common in girls than boys. So they screen all the kids in 6th grade. So in 6th grade, that's when they saw it. I was at school. They tested us, and I think the test was like we had to just like stand straight and then touch your toes, and then you like looking at. I'm playing with scissors. Oh, excuse me. So like this is your back. Like if you bend down, this is like the horizon of your back. You would look and see like if there's any like, like raises and stuff like that. So when I did the test in 6th grade, they noticed that my back was uneven. So they sent a letter home with me to get to my parents, and then we went to our pediatrician, and our pediatrician did the same test, and she noticed that there was some curvature. So then she recommended a orthopedic surgeon to us. So we went there, met with the orthopedic surgeon, did a lot of x-rays. Like I remember in my younger years, x-rays all the time. I had so many x-rays all the time. And they diagnosed me with scoliosis. And there's many different treatment options. But for me, they wanted to try to do like a corrective brace first. So my curvature was actually, I don't remember the degree of the curvature, because I curved up and at the in my middle, up top and like in the middle. So like your spine is like this, but mine curved like this. That's how mine was. So I forget the degree of the curvature, but they said for me to try the corrective braces first. So there was a engineer that was at the same place where I saw the doctor, and he built me a brace for my body, just based on my body. So for different pieces of like plastics and metals and stuff, he built a brace for me. So my brace was like, it started here, like my pelvis area, and then it was like a big cast that was like this big plastic thing, and then there was a rod that went up here, and then a rod that went up the back, and then there was a neck ring, and then I had a shoulder underarm thing that like you pull it this way and you fasten it to here, so it pushed you in like that, because I'm bending this way and my curve goes like that. So they pushed this way, put my hips this way, up this way, up this way. So I felt like a robot. I felt like I was, trapped in this like metal cage. Literally, that's what it was. So I wore the brace. So living with the brace was kind of hard because, you can't run with it on, because it's like a metal thing that does not bend. So you're like literally like this, and when you sit down, you have to sit up straight. You can't like, slouch. You go like this. You just sit like this, and then like when you want to turn, you gotta turn like this, bend like this, because it doesn't bend like that, it bends, so you like bend like this or like back and stuff. So it just sat me up like this. The one thing about that is that till this day, and having like the surgery, I sit up straight, and everyone notices like when I'm sitting down, like normally people would like slouch, but like I don't slouch because I have rods in my back. I'll get to that, but I just sit up like this straight. So wearing the brace, you can't run. I was only allowed to have it off, I think, for like 1 or 2 hours a day. So when I would wear it all day at school, and when I come back from school, I would have it off for like 1 or 2 hours, like to do homework and just to play around, and then by dinner time I have it back on and I sleep in it and stuff like that, and I take it off to go to take a shower. So that was what I wore during the summer times and stuff, you know, going to amusement parks. There was nothing wrong with me, like nothing was broken, but like when people see you like that and you want to ride a ride, they're like, no, don't get on the ride. So what we would do is that we would just take off my brace, and my mom would carry it around with us at the park, and I'll have it off. Those times my mom would let me have it off for like 4 hours. It's supposed to be 1 to 2, but I stayed it off for 4 hours so I can, like, you know, ride rides and have fun. So we would take it off, and then I would go in line to go for the roller coasters, and they would let me on because I didn't have my brace on. But they just weren't sure what it was, so they said, no, do not ride this ride and stuff like that. So yeah, so just having that. And then what other things? So like my clothes, I had to wear bigger clothes because the thing that was around like my pelvis was so thick, and it was like literally like a pelvis cast, like just a plastic thing over your waist. So I had to wear like bigger pants and bigger skirts, and I wore a uniform at school, so I had to get a bigger uniform and stuff like that. So, and there were so many like nuts and bolts and screws everywhere that it would always tear holes in my clothes. So I always had a hole in my clothes right here and in the back, and like I think that was it, like in the back, like here and in the back, like right here. Like if I wore this, if I had my brace on and I wore this, like, you know, for some time, I would start getting like holes in my shirt. So I always had holes in my shirts in the front and the back because of the screws and stuff. I hated wearing the brace because, as I said, like you felt trapped, so you can't, like, you know, do things and move around and, you know, be a kid and have fun and stuff like that when you're wearing it. What else? I just hated it. I just hated the way I looked in it. Oh, I have a picture I'll share of what I look like. I know there was another one that's better, but I couldn't find it at home. But this is the only one that I could find like really fast, that when I would wear my brace. So the neck thing would come up to here. So it's like if I wore a shirt like this, you would see my neck thing, and then the back would have these two like bunny ear white things. It would like white, and they're like bunnies like this, and they would sit to support like my back of my head. So that's what it looked like. It just looked like, it looked like I was in a really bad accident and I broke my back and I was in like a full body cast. That's what it looked like. So I would always joke with like people when they would ask me like, oh, what's wrong? What happened? Why do you have to wear that? What is that? And I said, oh, I was playing and I jumped off the roof of my house and I broke my back. I would always say that. People would believe me, like, oh wow, you broke your back, you jumped off the roof of your house. So people would always believe me. So I always told that story. I jumped off the roof of my house and I broke my back. So I wore that for a while. I think I wore it during 5th grade. Oh wait, the test was actually during 5th grade, not 6th grade, because I know I wore my brace in 5th grade. So it was 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. That's how long I wore my brace. 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. I wore my brace for a couple years and they didn't notice any much change in my curvature, and it wasn't getting better. It was still curving as I was still during puberty times. I was still growing and it was still curving. So the brace was not working for me. So the next step was to do surgery. So this is the only major surgery I've ever had in my life. So, and I was just the summer before 8th grade. So everyone was kind of like worried and scared. It's a very, 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 very major surgery, and it does not always go well. The people that I've known that had this surgery, it didn't go well for them. So I think to myself, like, well, I'm lucky that I did the surgery so young and I didn't have any problems. My one friend from high school, she had this surgery too, and it did not correct her at all, and she actually came out with a limp. Like, wow, the sun is going out. Sorry if the sun is going on in this video, but she came out with a limp. So like she would walk like this. Like, that's how she would walk and stuff. But before the surgery, she was perfectly fine, just like me, just perfectly fine, just have a curvature in your back. When she came out, you know, she had a limp now, you know what I mean? So that's, her surgery didn't go well. And then I have another friend that did this surgery, and it was okay, but they had to go back again and do some more nerve stuff because she had a lot of nerve damage and stuff. So yeah, so summer before 8th grade, I had this surgery. Let me fix my camera. I had this surgery, and I remember before surgery, I went to camp because Inky and I always went to summer camp. So I enjoyed summer camp for a month, and then I had the surgery, I think in July, end of June, July. So all I remember from the surgery was that day went to the hospital. They marked me up on my back, and I had to wear stocking caps to help with the blood flow, and they had to put these nodes from the top of my head all the way, one on the top of my head, I think just the top of my head, and it would just send like electrical pulses through my spinal cord, so that when they were doing surgery, they would make sure that I didn't lose any nerve connectivity from my spinal cord to my toes. So they would hook the node to my head, and then they would pulse it, and then when it pulsed, my toes would go like this. So it would be like beam, beam, and my big toes would be like this. And that's how they did it all through the surgery. They had it all through surgery so that when the doctor was doing the surgery, he would know that, you know, nothing was going wrong, you know. So my toe would just be bouncing like this. So they did that testing, blood testing beforehand, and then I wore my stockings, and then they gave me sleeping medication, and I got really tired, and I remember saying goodbye to mommy, daddy, and Inky, and Junior. Junior was just a baby then. And then my surgery was like a 6-hour surgery, 6 or 7 hour surgery. So, and my family stayed at the hospital all day and waited and stuff like that. So I remember when I went into the operating room, I was still drowsy, but they didn't put me all the way out yet. And then they put the mask on me to like put me out. And I just remember counting down from 10. And the last number I remember saying was 9, I remember. So that was that. So woke up from the surgery. I wasn't in pain. I just felt like stiff, very stiff, and I was numb. So I didn't feel anything, but just I know I was stiff. But I remember I was so hungry for things that I don't eat. I don't like. So I was requesting for orange juice. I do not like orange juice, but I was requesting for orange juice. I was requesting for strawberry Pop-Tarts. I hate strawberry Pop-Tarts, but when I came out of surgery, I was craving strawberry Pop-Tarts. So it was just so weird that my family was like, she wants orange juice, and then she wants strawberry Pop-Tarts. And Inky was just like, what is wrong with her? Like, she doesn't eat that. So that was that. So it was a long road of recovery to get back to normal. Years recovery to get back to normal. So coming out of surgery, I was in recovery at the hospital for a while. I had to do physical therapy where I had to learn how to do everything all over again. So learn how to like get up and walk, go to the bathroom, put on my shoes, put on my clothes. I remember I had to do breathing exercises because going back to before my surgery when I was in grade school, during gym time when we had to do like laps, like a running assignment for gym, I would always have to sit out because my curve, it made my rib cage not be able to expand, so my lungs couldn't expand all the way. So doing that kind of activity was hard for me because I couldn't breathe in all the way. So I always sat out with that. So I had to do breathing exercises when I came out of surgery. So I had to like breathe in this like tube thing and like make the little yellow ball go all the way up. So when I first came out of surgery, it was so hard for that thing to just go up. I was like, how come I can't breathe? How come it won't work? So every day I would do it, I'll get better and better, and finally I was able to breathe out all the way and push the little ball up all the way to the top of the thing. So that was recovery. Just doing physical therapy every day and learning how to do things over again. I have an incision from the top of my neck. If I wear like tank tops and like low cut back tops, you're able to see my scar, and sometimes people that don't know ask like, oh, what's that on your back? But it's all the way up to my neck, all the way down to here. One line that goes like that. And then I have another scar right here that they took some bone out, bone grafting out to do something with. And then I have a little scar up here, a little like circle scar right on my shoulder blade, and that was where they drained like just excess fluid after my surgery. So I have all scars all over my back, so my back does not look good, does not look nice. So sometimes I forget too because I don't see back there, and then like when people say like, oh, what's that on your back, I'm like, oh yeah, I had surgery on my back. So yeah, so those are my scars. So recovery was long. So when I came home from the hospital, it was hard because it was hard for me to find a place to sit and feel comfortable. So my bed was not comfortable to sit. The living room couch was not comfortable. So the other living room, like the formal living room, the chairs were in the formal living room, so so people don't sit there all the time. So the couches are more firm. So something more firm is able to prop me up better than something soft that I sink into, because that was so uncomfortable. So that's where Inky and I would hang out. I would sit there all day, and Inky would hang out with me all day there. And we would color and talk and stuff like that and play games. So that was that. I was still very stiff, so it was hard to just like, you know, walk around. Running was not even an option. Going up the stairs, going down the stairs, it was just very stiff. So that was hard. And then going to sleep, you know, you have to like get up and lay down a certain way so you don't like bend the wrong way or anything like that. And to this day, I still get up from my bed like that because I did it for so long that I just got used to it. So I lay down one way and I get up one way. So yeah, so recovery was long. I remember the first time that I was able to, I left the house one day, my first time out the house in like in regular public since my surgery. Went to Walmart. I remember this day because I was so sad. Went to Walmart, and Inky and I always go to the electronics to go see the latest CDs that just came out with from our favorite artist. So Inky like ran to the back, and I was like, oh, like I was trying to run, but I couldn't because I was still so stiff. So I felt sad, and I was just like, I hope my life isn't like this forever because I can't run. Like it feels like, what it feels like is like, say I strapped a surfboard to your back and it just stayed there like that, so you couldn't go like, you know. So that's what it felt like. There's like a board was like strapped to my back. So it was sad, and I didn't know if I was gonna feel like if that's how my life was gonna be like forever, to feel like that, because it's very uncomfortable. So 8th grade starts, and I have to have, I forget what it was. Was it a special book bag, or someone had to carry my book bag? No. So I had a book bag. I couldn't carry it on my back, so I had to have a second set of books at home, so I don't carry books in my book bag, so I wouldn't have weight on my back. So I always carry whatever was in my bag, I carried it with my hand like this because it was light, because I didn't have to bring back books home because I had a second set of books at home. So that was that. What else? It was hard for me to bend, you know, taking exams and stuff. Like you at your desk, you can go like this on your desk, like take exams, but I couldn't do that, so I had to always hold my test up like this. Even when I had my brace on, I had to hold my test up like this. I dropped things on the floor. People around me had to help me pick things up because I couldn't bend and stuff. I couldn't go to recess, couldn't do all that stuff. It was hard. It was hard being a kid, and you know, all those restrictions. So finished 8th grade, and then started high school. High school is when I got into sports. So by that time I was more flexible. I was normal again. Like I didn't feel like there was a board on my back. I felt flexible, more pliable, like this, you know. So sports. So I couldn't do any sports that were contact sports, like Like if I'm like basketball was one, like people would be like bumping into you, and I was still very fragile. So no sport where people would be bumping me and stuff like that. So I got into soccer. Soccer can be kind of, you know, contacty and rough, but not girls soccer in high school. So it wasn't bad at all. So I was able to play soccer, run. I was able to run normal again. So I was running in soccer. I was a forward. There was no contact, no problem with soccer. So soccer was perfect. And then track and field, because track and field, you know, you're not competing for like a ball or something like that. So you're kind of your own person, so you don't have to run into people. So track was easy. And as I said, I was running normal, so track, I could run really good, and I was able to breathe again. So breathing was good, so I was really good at track. And I think that was it for like sports. I was able to do sports again normally. And then by the time I got to high school, I think I still had a second set of books at home, so I don't have to carry too many books in my book bag when I come back from school. I was still recovering, but I was much better than I was when I was in 8th grade. So I felt normal again, like my body felt normal. But one thing was that from my curvature, it made my rib cage on this side of my body, it made it deformed. So if you look at my back, my rib cage sticks out on this side, like it juts out. So if, say, I was like leaning up against a wall or sitting on a chair that had a back that was hard, I would be like, you're like this, but I would be like this, because it would bump myself out in the back here, and it would be normal here. So I notice it when I sit on like a hard chair that this sticks out, so it hits the chair first. So I'm like this. So that's one thing. I'm more prone to being tired when I walk around too much or stand too long. So I can't stand or walk around for a long period of time, because my back starts to hurt. My back is weak. It's not as strong as someone that's my age. So I'm a very weak person when it comes to my back. So I'm just get more tired with things like that, strenuous things. So I'm a pharmacist, so I stand up all day. So that job is like, it's kind of like of all the jobs, you know, but that job is very, 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 very strenuous on my back. My back hurts every single day I go to work. Every single day I go to work, my back hurts. So I do a lot of exercises. When I exercise, the back pain is better. So I noticed that doing yoga and stretches makes the pain, you know, not come as hard or come as often as if I didn't work out or stretch and stuff like that. So I make sure I keep up with my exercises and stretching. But as I said, at work, my back hurts all the time, standing up all day. When I wear flip-flops all day, like in the summertime, my back hurts because it's so flat. So I always need some kind of shoe that has good arch support, good any kind of support, and I can't be like flat all day. What else? Yeah, back pains all the time. What else did I want to say? Maybe just like come with some of the symptoms or some of the things that I deal with now. You know, my back is corrected. So in my back, I have 2 rods. They like sit like this on top of my spine, and they straighten it out. So my back is straight now. Like my spine is straight now. It's so straight because some people have, I think, it's hard to, I'm going to show you guys. I don't know if I can, you guys can see, but like, I'm a little overcorrected on my shoulder stuff. So you can see how my shoulder, like right here, this muscle here, but like this side, it's lower. This is the worst top to show you guys, but you see how this is uneven? Here, go back. See how this is uneven? Like this sits lower than this side. So that's noticeable. I'm straight though, like I'm straight with my back, my hips are straight. It's just that my spine and my rib cage is messed up. Back pain sometimes. When I was little, I used to do cartwheels all the time. I have not attempted, no, like cartwheel as in like that was my thing. Like I would do cartwheels all the time. Growing up, when I was little, I would do, when my mom would take us grocery shopping, I would do cartwheels all up and down the aisles. All at school, everywhere. So ever since my surgery, I have never attempted a cartwheel because I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm gonna hurt myself, but I always think like one day, like I wish I can just do a cartwheel again, because I was a pro at cartwheels. Like cartwheels was my thing. So yeah, so certain like amusement park rides, like I can ride roller coasters, but some roller coasters where I know it's very like jerky, like this, like the corkscrew at Cedar Point, I cannot ride that because I know that it will hurt my back, because I can't do too many like jolting things and stuff like that. So I stay away from roller coasters that are too jerky, but I still ride roller coasters. I kind of have like a fear of somebody coming up behind me and like jumping on like on my shoulder. You know how some people like jump on people's shoulders or like hit my back, like bump it or something. So I think that's like my biggest fear in life, is that someone is gonna just like jump on me or like hit my back, because it's so fragile. Like I feel the fragility, so I get scared sometimes being around people like in a big crowd, or a big crowd, or like a big place where there's a lot of people like hustling and bustling and stuff, especially at the club. So I always get afraid of people's gonna like hurt my back or bump me. But it's just like, it's like a bodily fear, because I know I'm weak back there, so I just feel very protective back there and stuff like that. What else? I don't know. I think that's all I wanted to say about it, but I'll put some information about scoliosis and stuff like that down below if anyone's interested. As I said, it's more common in girls and boys during puberty. Everyone's severity of scoliosis is different. Some people have a little curve and they don't need surgery. Some people have a really bad curve and they need surgery, like I had to have. Some people wear the brace and they're able to continue growing and their spine, you know, stops curving or straightens up, but that wasn't the case for me. And yeah, so that was my scoliosis surgery. One other thing I wanted to say was that during the winter, and during the time, like during the winter when I get cold, there's metal on my back, so it hurts when I'm cold, or when it's cold in my environment. I feel it, so it makes my back really stiff and it hurts. So I don't like being cold. And even at work, like sometimes if it's really cold at work, you know, everyone's body is different. So at work, it's like really hard to like make the perfect temperature. But I don't like being cold because it's painful to be cold. To when you shiver, like especially when I shiver, that's when it's like someone just kill me now, like it hurts. So I don't like being cold to prevent me from shivering, because when I shiver, worst pain ever, because it's like that metal just gets cold and it's rigid and you just feel it. Oh, it's the worst pain ever. So I hate being cold for that reason, because it's painful for me. So that's the only thing that I can think of is like a thing, like a kind of like a side effect or like a after effect of having the surgery and like having metal in your back. When I go to the airport, I do not make the detectors go off, because they use a certain metal. I forget what it is, but a certain metal that isn't like picked up by the stuff, so I don't have to deal with that. What else I want to say? That's the only downside about it, is that you have scars on your back that are like really ugly, but it is what it is. Whatever. Anyways, that's the end of this vlog for April, for today. I hope you guys are enjoying the April vlogs. Don't forget, leave discussion topics below so we can have good discussions for all the month of April, because April is my birthday month. And I'm gonna end the vlog here because I know I talked for a long time. Everyone was asking me to do a story time, so that was a story time I had. I have more, but I don't know, like I know I have some with Erica that I'm gonna do, and then I have some with Inky that I want to do, but that was my first story time today. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys mañana. Bye.